All right. Hi, Dr. Mori with the Uncivilized Vitality. And this is going to be a quick video about, well, as quick as I can do it, quick video about Fieldcraft 101 knots. We're going to call these the 6 foundational knots. These are the knots that you're going to learn on one of our Fieldcraft 101 events. And then try to familiarize yourself with these knots beforehand. Each of these knots is a good representative of these 6 areas. And we have videos that hopefully Logan will do some magic and link to them in the description or in the video, so you can see a more detailed video. And then at camp, we're going to review these, teach you how to tie the knots, and then we're going to show you the applications of the knots at camp. So you're going to need to kind of familiarize yourself with a little bit. You don't have to be good at them yet. We'll do them at camp in the field. We want to talk about a basic bind. Is going to be a simple square knot. I'm going to use 2 different colors so you can see. This is when you're basically going to cross right over left, and then left over right, and you end up with a square knot. This knot is super useful, and if it's the only knot you learn, it'll probably get you through 90% of what you're doing. Okay? You're going to want to know the other knot, which is sometimes called the king of knots, and this is your basic loop, the bowline. There are other loops, angler's loop, figure 8 loop, and such, but bowline, you're going to make a little overhand loop, a little hole. The little rabbit comes out of his hole, goes behind the tree, which is the standing end, back through the hole, and you pull it closed, and there's your basic bowline loop. All right, we're going to use that loop for nearly everything. We'll teach you about all the different applications. Now, you're going to start out with several hitches, but any type that uses a barrel friction, like a Prusik knot, there's lots of different types. We're going to use a Prusik loop knot, is the basic taut line. The taut line is going to come back on itself. You're going to go across the standing part, and you're going to go through the loop 2 or 3 times. I always say 3 times, but 2 times enough. Then back out of the loop, over the standing end again, and up through, and this will form a little bit of a barrel. And from there, you can tie that taut line hitch around a tent stake, right? A tent stake or the tree. And the best part about the taut line hitch is it's held there by friction, and you can slide that barrel up and keep it there, or slide it back down to keep it there. So check out the taut line hitch, lots of applications. The figure 8, we're going to just talk about that as a stopper knot. The figure 8 is an all-purpose sort of knot. We can make a pass-through loop, we can make a bend, we do all sorts of things with the figure 8. You're going to make a bite, you're going to take the free end, go around the bite 1 full turn, and then through, and then when you pull that down, you will make that characteristic figure 8 shape to the rope in the end, and that's going to make the figure 8 knot. Again, I'm tying these real quick. Check out the other videos that Logan will link so you can see how to do them in more detail. We want to get you a basic idea when you show up at camp, so we can get right into the learning the ins and outs of the knots, and then start with the application. The next one's going to be a bend. This is how you're going to tie 2 ropes or cordage together, or when we do a lot of work at camp in the Fieldcraft 101 with your morigami, how to make bags and packs, and you're going to want to know especially the square knot and the sheet bend. So I have a knot or a rope. At the end I want to make a bend, so I'm going to tie it to another rope. I make a little bite, and then through this bite I'm going to bring the other rope up from below. I'm going to go all the way around that bite, and then the blue line here is going to tuck back under itself, and as I pull that knot down, it's going to collapse on itself and keep it from coming through the loop, and I have a basic sheet bend. Right? Sheet being the sail on a sailing ship, and this is how you would tie the cord to the corner of a sheet with a sheet bend. Right? And then the other knot we want to talk about is a multi-use knot called a lark's head. We're going to use this lark's head as a hitch to close off soft shackles, to tie cordage like your tarps to the stakes. Lots of ways to do or use a lark's head. You're going to find a bite in your rope. You're going to fold that bite back on itself, forming these 2 loops. Kind of looks like a pretzel or an alien. And then you're going to fold those 2 loops together. This is going to make your lark's head, and then you can put it around a tent stake, another line, a pole, a tree, and you'll be able to tighten that down. So that'll be your lark's head. We're going to use that for a lot of things. Again, with the morigamis in addition to the cordage for your shelters. So your 6 foundational knots we'd like you to be familiar with. And if you have any questions, you can't find the other videos, get hold of Logan and he'll point you in the right direction. Basic loop, the bowline we're going to start out. A multi-use knot to be your lark's head, your square knot for a bind, your sheet bend for a bend, figure eight for a stopper, and we're going to teach you the Prusik or barrel friction with the taut line as the first example. We're also going to go over the Prusik loop and more than likely the trucker's hitch if you can't kind of get your ridge line tied down real quick. We'll talk about some other things too, running slip knots, half hitches. But these are the 6 you should familiarize yourself with before you go to Fieldcraft 101. And I think our next one's coming up here in about a month in November. We like to go in the later months because no bugs, no poison ivy. Okay, if you like that, give a thumbs up, make some comments below, check out the other videos, and subscribe to the channel.